right, we ready?
Let's get it.
All right, Jake Huggins. Welcome, everybody, to the Alliance Group podcast, and we have another special guest with us this morning, all the way from Kansas City and from Synergy Financial Partners, Mr. Jake Huggins. Jake, welcome to the Alliance Group podcast, buddy.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of
I
course.
appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it's your first podcast, right?
First ever.
I love it. I love a good first timer. Really awesome to have you in here, Jake. What you're doing, which we're going to talk about a lot with the YES program at Synergy, and what you're doing. Being a leader there among what is a really exciting group of young talent that is coming into your organization is really incredible. So can't wait to kind of dig into that throughout this podcast today. We'll start all the way at the very beginning. So you are a recent college graduate. Your dad is actually Jeff Huggins, which I'm sure many of our viewers are familiar with. Jeff, an incredible friend of the Alliance Group, runs Synergy Financial Partners, and he is obviously one of our largest and most successful agencies, and a great friend as well. So you've got a pretty great blueprint to follow, first of all, but also kind of a built-in mentor there, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been huge being able to have him as a resource, of course, to lean on and learn the process.
Yeah, so like when you were growing up, obviously your dad's been doing SFP forever, since you were knee-high to a grasshopper, so to speak. When you were a kid, was your dad's career something you were like looking at, like I might be interested in doing that one day, or was it like I have no interest in that, and wasn't until you kind of got older a little bit, started looking at having your own career, that you first looked at Synergy as an option?
Yeah, great question. So honestly, growing up, this is probably the last thing I would have expected
right?
to be doing. I had no interest in finance or how money works or anything. I was a big hunter and fisherman, so I wanted to be like an outdoor police,
right?
Believe it or not. Yeah. But I always loved how my dad talked about how much what he does helps people. That was something that kind of stood out to me. And so I understood that perspective of it's all about helping others, but I didn't really know what that meant, per se.
My dad helps people and money stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. Right. And then actually there was a situation where, so I had this trainer throughout my childhood from about probably 7th grade until senior year of high school.
Mm-hmm. Like a bodybuilding trainer?
Yeah, or like a football strength training
Gotcha.
type guy. And he was actually up in North Forsyth, out in the country, and older guy, but like a second father figure to me. Just one of those people where you just want to be like them.
Yeah.
Look up to him, and meant the world to me. I'd go out to his little 2-stall garage, and there was goats and pigs running around, and about enough machines to fit in a full-size gym, kind of packed into there. But I mean, he would charge us $10 for a 3-hour workout. Just oh
my gosh.
Special guy.
Yeah.
And I remember one day when I was going to work out senior year in his gym, he was late to the workout, and he's never been late in however many years. So I knew something was kind of off.
Yeah.
And he came out about 20 minutes late, and I could tell he was acting a little funny. So I was like, Coach, are you doing okay? What's going on? And at that point, he told me he had been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer.
Oh, my gosh.
And had a grandson who lived with him who came from a hard background, and a wife. And, I mean, this gym was 50 years of their life, and that was like everything they had built. Mm-hmm. And, of course, I was like, well, you need to focus on your family and get healthy and everything. But he demanded that he continue to train us. So over the next few months, I remember him saying he couldn't afford the very basics of paying the insurance for the gym. And by the time he moved on to his next destination, he had lost everything. And the family had to move out of the house.
Oh, my gosh.
Lost the gym. And so I always knew my dad talked about helping people. But when I saw someone so near and dear to my heart and not having something as simple as a living benefits policy,
right,
and the detriment that can have on an entire family, it was kind of at that moment when my mind shifted to if I can help families not feel that, then
Right.
it's the greatest thing in the world.
I always like whenever I'm on stage talking about living benefits, I talk about how there's a lot of professions out there where you can do good. There's a lot of professions out there where you can help people, and a lot of people say, I help people in my job, making widgets at this factory because people like widgets and they want to buy widgets, so I make them. I help people, but there are very few professions where you can truly impact not just a client but their family and even generations like you can in this industry. And and sometimes it does take seeing it firsthand to really appreciate the full impact of what value the things that we offer have.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was talking with one of my partners, Jack, the other day, actually, and don't quote me on this stat, but I believe it's 59% of all bankruptcies are the direct result of a critical illness and the
Yeah.
expenses that follow. And we were just talking about how, I know this is a hypothetical, but if we could get living benefits into everyone's hands in the U.S., that would literally eliminate 59% of the bankruptcies that'll happen this
It's
year.
incredible, isn't it? It's almost, I've gone down this path in my head before too. Is like we need to everyone needs to own like all these taxes we're paying. Why doesn't everyone just own a living benefits policy? And then, my gosh, what kind of impact would that make on the entire economy of the country, the healthcare system, everything, right? I mean, that's how important what we offer is. And, unfortunately, we can't make everyone have a living benefits policy. We have to actually sit down and educate them as to why they're important. But, it's that made a big impression on you at that kind of tender age. So then at that point, you went off to college. You played football at Kansas State.
Yes, sir.
Go Cats, right? You and your brother Eli, right?
Yep. So he was 2 years older than me, so kind of paved the way. Going out to the middle of nowhere in Kansas was a little easier having him there already, of course.
Yeah. And Jeff, of course, your father played football at Austin P, right?
Yes, sir.
Played football there for a year or so, and then he was a strength training coach.
Yep, did some strength coaching, and then had some gyms and things like that as well.
And if you guys have met Jeff, you could be like, "Yep, that did perfect." That's exactly what he looks like. He looks like a football player that used to be a strength and conditioning coach as well. So you guys have this. I mean, sports and particularly football, it runs in the Huggins blood, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know your mother as well. She's big football fan. Heather is awesome. She's one of her favorite people. Hi, Heather. I know you're watching. So there is a lot of great synergies that happen. And one of the things I love about the YES program is that you guys are kind of taking advantage of these great synergies. Oh, that's funny. I'm saying synergies. But there are some really good synergies that happen between college athletes and our industry. And they work kind of both ways. So talk about a little bit why athletics go hand in hand so well with the financial services industry that we're in, as far as like the habits of an athlete, the characteristics and personal attributes of an athlete, and how that translates to being successful in this industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in athletics, I think one of the things that people love about football, in my case, is if I work way harder than someone, I'm going to get more time on the field.
Yep, it's a meritocracy, right? It's not. There's no politics or anything like that. It's like, hey, if you can block better, if you can catch passes better, you're going to be the starting tight end over that guy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And at the college level, of course, there's some people that are more talented than others, but most people are kind of equal in their talent levels, and it's really the skills that you master that make the difference and give you that edge,
right,
in college athletics. And I feel like this business is really a business of skills that are learned, not necessarily talents. Talented people have won here, obviously, but I can attest to a personal testament that you don't have to be extremely talented to do well in this business. So I think it's the desire that they don't want to be limited in what they can achieve, and they want to have more control of their time, of course, and really build something special. I feel like most people I talk to resonate with the fact that with college football, for example, you obviously love the sport and you want to play it because of that, but then also it's that feeling like deep down inside in that you want to do something bigger than yourself.
Yeah, right.
Once you get to that level, and most people, when college athletics dies down, if they don't make it to the NFL or whatever it may be, often I feel like they think their dreams kind of died.
Right. It's like I've been working for the same thing my whole time, and now I'm at the end of the road, and this didn't happen. Now what?
Absolutely.
Where do I take all of these skills and these it's not just skill building, it's character building, it's habit forming, it's all of these really important things that they were pouring into and focusing on the end goal of getting better at football and being a better football player. And now they've got all these skills, all these great habits, all this talent, and they're saying, well, how do I apply this? And sometimes the corporate world can be a bit of a letdown for those people.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, at football, you're working as hard as you can, and you have to have that discipline of 6 a.m. runs. It'd be out snowing and everything in Kansas. And, every meal and everything, you got to be there at a certain time, and you have that structure. But it gets you to have the habits that if you can bring them into business, you have an extreme advantage where you can really do something special.
And it's not, it works from your perspective as well. If you think about, I'm trying to bring people onto my team in the financial services industry, what kind of characteristics am I looking for? I'm looking for someone who is dedicated. I'm looking for someone who is disciplined. I'm looking for someone who is willing to accept coaching. I'm looking for someone who's willing to work hard. I'm looking for someone who wants to achieve, right? These are all things that line up perfectly with a college athlete, with somebody who is used to training as a college athlete, right? So from my perspective as a recruiter, this is the opportunity that you guys saw with the YES program. We've got two parties. We've got me wanting to bring great people on to help as many people as we possibly can, and we've got these college athletes who have they've achieved at a high level. These are Division I athletes, right?
Right.
No, they're not going on to the pros in most cases, but they've got all these amazing skills that they've been building over the years, and they want to apply those in a way that's going to be exciting, that's going to give them upward mobility immediately, and that's going to let them help people as well, and utilize those skills that they've been building in their new career. So it's this perfect marriage, and I think it's so smart that you guys figured out this angle.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've been chasing a big goal their whole life, and then they just happen to find the right vehicle where they can chase another big goal and have something to be excited about.
Yeah. So the YES program was born, and for our viewers and listeners out there, YES stands for
Young Entrepreneurship System.
Gotcha. So tell me a little bit. I guess for people who haven't heard of YES, give us a little overview of what Synergy Financial Partners YES program does, who it's for, and how it works.
Yeah. So the focus of the YES program is teaching a lot of the basics of how money works that's not typically taught in school from a client perspective.
Right.
But then for college students or graduates as well, it's an opportunity for them to have an internship or an opportunity where they can create something of their own, build a business of their own. I always say let's grind in our 20s so we're working in our 30s because we want to, but we don't have to. So, and often as well, people, they want to learn about finances on their own. And I say it's kind of like when I was in college athletics, I could never learn the plays when I was first starting out. But then when I was a sophomore or junior and I had to teach the plays to the freshmen coming in, I learned those plays really quick. And I think that resonates with a lot of people, that if you're teaching how money works, well, you're going to know for your own situation.
Absolutely. That applies to everything, always has. If you teach it, you're going to learn it better because you have to figure out how to teach it, right? And that it just sticks. It's so smart. So it's not just for college athletes, and it's not just for college graduates. This could be for people who are still in college, and they're looking for a way to make extra money, or maybe it's to start the beginnings of a career for after they graduate. It might just be something that they can participate in, kind of like a social group almost, where they're learning about money, they're helping other people, they're referring business, they're bringing people to the table that they know, and they're making some extra money on the side, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You really get to be an entrepreneur. For me, for example, it was full-time school and football. I needed that flexibility to kind of fit it around fall camp and stuff when I couldn't do anything. But
Sure.
so I was working full-time on school and football, part-time on my business. But fortunately, by the time I graduated, I hit my goal of having a full-time income, and I'll never have to have a boss ever again, Lord willing.
It's amazing, man. It really is amazing. So, you guys have I don't want to forget any names here. You guys have built this really incredible little core of exciting young go-getters that are building and kind of fueling this Yes program for you guys. And it's growing and it's growing and it's growing. So you've got yourself, you've got several players that you played college football with at Kansas State, right?
Absolutely.
So you got Sam Shields, you got Logan Long. There's more. Is it Sam Shields and Logan Long from Kansas State?
From Kansas State, that's the core, the
Right.
anchors. We kind of started at ground zero together, and there's studs like Jack Wagner. He played baseball.
Love that guy.
Multiple places, but Arkansas. And then we got Coach Jason Ray, who's kind of the tip of the spear per se for the Yes program. That was our coach at Kansas State.
Right, he was your tight ends coach.
Yes,
That's so crazy. So that's the other thing that you guys are doing. You're not just talking to athletes. Talk about an amazing skill set to bring into our industry of a coach, like a college coach, a college football coach or baseball coach, whatever it is. We just like we were talking about those skills that students are developing as student athletes. Talk about the skills that a coach can have, teaching people these things, bringing people in and coaching them how to work the system. That's unbelievable. And I know that Jason Ray has been huge for you guys.
Oh yeah, he's the man. I mean, he is a energy machine, and
He
he was
is.
the same at coaching as well. He always says he went from teaching X's and O's to dollars and cents now.
I love it. I love it. So Jason's actually reaching out, part of the S program. You guys are reaching out proactively to college campuses and to athletic directors saying, hey, we want to bring Yes to your college athletes, to your coaches' rooms, right? And, offer the value that we offer. And you guys are doing some really amazing things. I think it's just fantastic. You've been to Kansas State. Obviously, you've been to Rice, Arkansas, other college campuses as well. I think it's just an incredible kind of idea and blueprint. And what you guys are already doing with the Yes system is pretty awesome. It's also, I think, really well timed in that obviously what Synergy Financial Partners is offering through the Yes program to these kids is primarily financial education, right?
Right.
Talk about this generation. You guys, we actually had to Google it. I asked him what generation he was a part of, and Jake was like, I don't know. I'm not a millennial. I was like, okay, so you are Gen Z. You're like smack in the middle, right? It's like late 90s to early 2000s. So this is kind of the group that is graduating college now. And this generation, in particular, no, not just graduating college, but is also in college and even entering college. This generation in particular has seen vastly different things than my generation and the Generation Xers have seen. It's completely different. You guys were raised with a childhood that included 2008 and that fallout. The meltdown of the mortgage market, the world banks, going bankrupt, all of these things happening, high interest rates, challenges in the housing market, high college costs, competitive job market. It's a very different impression of money that this generation has gotten. And there is a real desire within your generation to learn and know about money. And that is exactly what you guys are bringing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it all goes back to, some of the things that I feel like should be taught like a math or science in school that often you don't see. Growing up here, I didn't learn anything about how money works. And I ask people that we work with from Hawaii to Alaska to New York to Florida that same question. And 98 out of 100 would tell you they didn't learn anything about how money works in school. And then you see hard times that a lot of people went through in the period we grew up in. And I think it's a very strong desire to make sure that they can put their family in a position that they're kind of bulletproof, whatever life does throw at them in the future.
Right. The other thing that we see with this younger generation is there's an altruistic. They want to help people. You and I were talking before the podcast, and we were kind of like, you were describing a situation where it's like this generation is more attracted to maybe even a job. They would even take a job with lower pay where they know that they could actually help people, and there's something genuine that they can attach themselves to and feel good that they're doing good in the world. They will value that in some cases over money, which I think is huge. And the great thing with this industry is you can help people, and you don't necessarily have to sacrifice that income for the ability to help people.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. One of the biggest things for me with what I was going to do as a career is I didn't want to feel like I was just trading time for money.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to have a bigger purpose to what we're doing. And I think you hit the nail right on the head in the fact that it is, above all else, important to the vast majority of people I talk to that they feel good about what they're doing. They're making a difference. Because if you're going to do something long term, well, the money only goes so far.
Yeah.
You got to love what you're doing.
Right. It's very, very true. It's very, very true. So the YES program, it's just awesome. If somebody was watching this, maybe it's somebody who has a college son or college-age son or daughter or family member, or maybe it's someone who's in school themselves, or you don't even have to necessarily be in college. Somebody of that younger generation who's looking for that opportunity to help people, who's looking for that opportunity to start a career where they don't have a boss, they have unlimited income potential, and again the ability to help people and learn about money in the process. How would somebody find more information about joining the YES program?
Absolutely. So if you go to synergyfinancial.com, there's a tab for the YES program on there where you can reach out, and then we can get in contact with you and have a conversation and free education and share about the opportunity as well.
Yeah,
so.
You guys have a really awesome kind of support system within that. Lots of great young leaders that you're building. The thing I love about it is that you guys can kind of just put your arms around that new person. It's almost like a fraternity or sorority, right? Where like, hey, you're in the club now. This is what we're doing. It's really exciting. Let's get you trained up, and then the thing I love about you guys is you actually work with them to find out what it is that you want to do, right? Like there isn't just this one path you can go down. Depending on what your situation is, what your appetite is, you can go a lot of different ways, right?
Right, absolutely. And I think that's why the internship works for a lot of athletes, because I mean your schedule's insane in different times of the year. It's insane, of course, as well. So being able to make your own hours and be able to turn the business on and off like a faucet is essential for people to be able to even partake in an opportunity.
Sure.
And I find nowadays a lot of people, especially in the athletic world, when they get out of that environment of being around a bunch of people that are motivated and hardworking, they want to find an avenue where they can be around like-minded people.
Right.
And I just have to give a shout out to all the guys because they are, incredible and make me better every day. And we can learn from each other. We multiply the learning because we're always together chasing this big dream.
It's that kind of pool of experience. You guys go out and you have your conversations. You do your education, and you meet people, you talk to people, and then you come back and you kind of download together. And it's a really special thing what you guys have going. We're really excited about it as Alliance Group. We're excited to support you guys in everything that you do. I really want to thank you for being here today, Jake, and sharing some of your experience and talking about the YES program. It's a really, really awesome program. You guys are doing an amazing job.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate you. It's my pleasure.
Absolutely. Thanks everyone for joining us. We're going to shoot some more content with Jake here in Stratton Studios throughout the day. It's been awesome having you, Jake, and you guys make sure to join us for the next edition of the Alliance Group Podcast.
Listen to this interview and more on the Alliance Group Podcast.